This is about real estate, Walmart, and people with money. If you happen to own your home outright or purchased during the price inflated but lowest financing rates available during the pandemic, congratulations to you. Well done. Market well timed. For the rest of Americans, we will likely be confined to renting for the remainder of our life, if we can even afford that, because the affordability of the housing market in and of itself has squarely been pushed outside of home ownership reach. The median home price of an existing home was $278,200 in August of 2019, according to the NAR, the National Association of Realtors. That figure has since changed to $407,100 as of August 2023. Of course, subsequently there is talk of a bubble similar to 2008, but for the market to come back to where the old American dream of homeownership is not just a nightmare, one of three conditions would actually need to take place. Incomes would have to increase by 55%, or home prices would need to come down by 35%. Effectively, the market would have to experience a crash, or last but not least, mortgage rates will have to drop by 4%. What we know with absolute certainty is that incomes will not spike by 55%. Purely from a numerical and fiscal perspective, organizational America would rather reduce their staff and lay people off or fire people rather than paying them what they are worth. What we also know is that a decline in home prices by 35% is unlikely. There is just simply too much institutional capital involved for that to be allowed. Is it possible? Technically, yes, but not probable. And we know that the Feds won't drop the rates anytime soon because of the evils of inflation. Add to that, of course, corporate greed and price increases that far surpass the actual inflation markers, and we know who at least partially is the culprit in the room. For context, per the US Census, approximately 89.6% of the housing units in the United States in the second quarter of 2023 were occupied. 10.4% were vacant. Extrapolate that onto the entirety of the United States, and that's a lot of dwellings that are sitting empty. Owner-occupied housing units made up 59.1% of total housing, 30.5% of Americans were renters, and the remaining 10.4%, like I said earlier, are the unoccupied units. Part 2. I addressed this before. Retailers are now buttoning up their choke collars, and Walmart CEO Bill Simon warns that consumers are starting to buckle for the first time in a decade.
The consumers had an incredible, really 10, 12-year run as they started this recovery, and the markets were, buoyant, interest rates were low, and money was available. And, we're starting to see this accumulation of, global macroeconomic issues, geopolitical issues, inflation, interest rates, loan repayments. I mean, we've got a really, really contentious election that we're in the middle of. Congress can't pass a budget. They can't even elect a speaker. And I think that sort of pileup wears on the consumer and makes them wary.
That he casually omits Walmart increasing its prices while not paying more does not go unnoticed. Considering that these CEOs are getting paid for being humongously intelligent, it's actually quite surprising that they didn't see this one coming. So part 1 is that housing is unaffordable and the individual conditions to return to normalcy will not be met anytime soon. A merger of the three conditions may be our only chance, but I'm guessing that also will not happen anytime soon. Part 2. Even Walmart suddenly realizes that Americans are broke and broken. Of course, this hasn't occurred to them until they notice that their revenue isn't quite as stellar or what it once was, and that upsets the shareholder, because screw the common people. And part 3, to quasi-add insult to injury, over the past 20 years, the number of individuals with a net worth of $100 million or more has doubled, and the number of billionaires in the world has skyrocketed from just under 500 people in 2003 to more than 2,600 individuals being billionaires today. And of those billionaires, more than 955 are living inside the United States, the country with the greatest concentration of billionaires. One has to wonder how long this is going to continue before it actually does not end well.
Bill, it's always great to see you. Thank you so much for your time.
You bet. We'll see you.